you, son. Just think about it. Okay, so anyway, so Spring High School in Houston. No reason any of you outside of Houston would need to know where the high school is. Half people in Houston don't know where it is. Doesn't matter. It's one of these neighborhoods that's gone totally minority, and the gang infestation, I'm told from unnamed sources, is bad. Well, this morning at around 7:15, because there's no better time to fight than in the cafeteria before school starts. Who's doing that? I'm still waking up. Anyway, so 4 Mexicans stab 4 black kids, killing one of them. It's 2013, and they're stabbing people. The minute I got the text, before it broke in the news, I got a text from a law enforcement officer who was involved on the case. And he said, there's been a stabbing, 4 people stabbed. It's a member of a gang called Brown Pride that stabbed them. This is gang activity in the high school. I mean, real classy stuff. Well, and it'll probably turn out that these kids are just doing the work that we Americans won't do, stabbing black kids and running amok in the school. But I digress. I don't know that. That's unconfirmed. That's just me. That's pure conjecture and speculation. But, so here's what happened. So during the course of the day, everywhere I went, I keep a keen eye and an ear to the ground, Ramon. I am constantly listening. I am a student of the human condition. I am observing our culture as it moves along. It's a dynamic process. Well, everywhere I go, I'm hearing people talking about this stabbing at the high school, as if it could just happen anywhere, as if it's so important. And different people knew different details, and I could tell that they were rising to the top of their group at the water cooler because they had more details on the stabbing. And the whole day, the local news stations, the TV stations, are reporting breaking news every 5 minutes. Breaking news! But the breaking news was the same breaking news from the last 3 hours. They just kept breaking news. And they cut into people's stories. So somewhere there's some shut-ins that are pissed off because they don't know how to work that newfangled VCR, and they don't know how to record their stories when they're not on. And the news comes on, and they're talking about this stabbing by a bunch of non-white people at a high school, and they're thinking, this country's gone to hell, that's fine, but stop interrupting my stories. Days of Our Lives, As the World Turned. I mean, they're getting upset about this, right? And I'm thinking to myself, more people in Houston, Texas right now know more details about a stabbing at a high school that occurred a matter of a few hours ago than we do about Benghazi, where we were attacked on 9/11 by Muslims, and our ambassador and a Navy SEAL and I thought to myself, something's real wrong with this country when this is happening. Something is real wrong. And let me tell you what's wrong. It's not just that the media doesn't want to expose Barack Obama for who and what he is. It is also because our populace is too damn stupid to handle most news, because it would actually require figuring out where Benghazi is, and that would require figuring out where Libya is, which would require figuring out where Africa is, which would require, that's too much work. Too much work. But a stabbing at the local high school, well, as Hunter S. Thompson appropriately calls it in his book, The Kingdom of Fear. You see, if people were killed in Benghazi, you don't need to be on edge in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. You don't need to be panicked in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Don't worry, Schenectady, Troy, Saratoga Springs, Niskayuna, New York. Don't you worry, Beaverton, Oregon. That won't happen to you. That's over there. But if somebody got killed at the high school, that could happen to yours.
Action 9 News. First with our helicopter on the scene filming nothing. First to cause a mass panic. First to interview that fat kid across campus that was never in any real danger. First to suggest this was terrorism. First to interview former students that have nothing to do with anything. First to point out other networks that were second. Action 9 News. Always first. Sometimes correct.
And that's it. We're going to have the inside story of what's going on. And then the sheriff, he does his press conference in Houston, Texas, of all places. He does his press conference in English. And then, because Mexicans were involved, he does his press conference in Spanish afterwards. Bad Spanish, may I note. Bad Spanish. If you're going to do it in two languages and your last name is Hispanic, then for the love of God, let me do it for you. Because I actually speak Spanish better than the sheriff does, and his last name's Garcia. It was terrible. It was embarrassing. So that's what we've been reduced to. We've been reduced to the sheriff doing press conferences when Mexicans are involved in English and then in Spanish.
The women from the South are Southern belles, or Mexican women Taco Bells. Now that's funny right there. I did that joke in Mexico. They laughed their hind end off at that joke. Sorry, I was in Houston. Sorry, I apologize, Houston.